his own admission, I say what's on my mind kind of guy, concerned with constructing a could-be-true narrative that reinforces his worldview. The examples are myriad, misrepresenting his conduct towards women, the unbuilt border wall, casting doubt over Barack Obama's citizenship, distorting the scale of his inauguration crowd, and disputing the lost election. He elevates bullshit to an art form. His medium is the media, and like a potter moulding clay, he readily manipulates the press. If you do things a little differently, if you say outrageous things and fight back, they love you. Provoking controversy results in free publicity and is catalysed by exaggeration. A Trumpian claim might start with a kernel of truth, but grows into a forest of lies. When Trump complained at the start of his presidency that Obama ordered his phones to be wiretapped, he was not really trying to persuade people that this was true. He was a bluffer, doubling down in his acrimonious dispute with Obama. There was no evidence that this had happened, yet it was almost conceivable, given the tension between the president and his predecessor. Also, Obama was faced with the impossible task of proving a negative claim, because you can't evidence that he didn't do something. Trump's bet paid off. He was further testing his accolades in the media and the Republican Party to see if they would debase themselves and blindly repeat his claim. They did, and this untruth consolidated his power base. Clinton and Trump's brands of bullshit were very different. The adulterous Bill always kept his foot planted in the literal truth, while misleading his electorate with, for example, the carefully constructed sentence, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky," as what transpired did not meet the dictionary definition of sexual relations. Trump is brazen and weaponizes bullshit as a powerful political tool. This continues to be his modus operandi. He uses it to draw a line between us and them in society, those who believe him or accept his twisted reality and those that reject the discourse. Bullshit takes many forms. It can be seemingly credible and robust, or just shallow and brittle. The Clinton example could not be more different in its execution to the BMW outside the nightclub ploy, which had hardly been thought through at all. As soon as the car went back to the boss, the bullshit was exposed. Clinton's words were finely crafted, disciplined, and served him well. It's difficult to fathom how much of Trump's proclamations are pre-planned or off the cuff. Either by design or intuition, he is the bullshit artist par excellence. What is common across all three examples is that what makes bullshit toxic isn't that it's slapdash, but that it's a misrepresentation. It is looking at reality through the distortion of a dirty window. Metaphors, models, and metrics. Bullshit is a problematic word, an offensive, visceral noun or verb that evokes disgust or a sneer. Invoking it in a book that promotes critical thinking is intended to be both powerful and playful. It draws attention and provokes a reaction, but is not used without restraint. Rather, it is used because it can help explain toxic miscommunication in the most important of contexts. Politics is fertile ground for corrosive nearly truths. While the presidential examples illuminate how it is used by the world's most powerful men to protect and bolster their status, more widely its proliferation across the political landscape is unsurprising. Politicians are expected to know something about everything, from defence to culture, economics, healthcare and justice. It is understandable that they often get caught out on topics for which they are unprepared. They are faced by circumstances that demand they speak without knowing what they are talking about. A good leader should be self-confident enough to say they don't know the answer, but that isn't something that plays well in 24-hour news cycles. When confronted with a hot microphone, they must wing it with a half-truth, rather than risk losing face. In such circumstances, a bullshit comparison can aid a politician. While most folks may know what plain old bullshit is when they hear it, it can be harder to spot when cloaked by comparison. A comparative device gives authority to a mistruth. It destabilizes our cognitive ability by giving structure to the sort of lie. Donald Trump uses comparison in this way to build more persuasive arguments. When he faced 91 criminal charges in 2023, Trump insisted he was not afraid of prison and likened himself to a famous inmate. "I don't mind being Nelson Mandela because I'm doing it for a reason." The comparison with the dignified Nobel Peace Prize winning South African was absurd. One was imprisoned